American R&B group Blackstreet was the brainchild of singer, songwriter, musician, record producer, and the creator of the new jack swing genre, Edward Theodore Riley, better known as Teddy Riley. After the breakup of another group Teddy created, the 80s R&B group Guy, and while in the middle of working his magic for artists like Wreckx-n-Effect, Heavy D, and Michael Jackson, he came up with the idea to start a new group featuring himself in 1991. The group's original lineup featured Teddy, an artist that he had become familiar with while working with Guy, named Chauncey Hannibal, as well as Levi Little and Joseph Stonestreet. The name came from putting together Chauncey's nickname, Black, with the latter half of Joseph's surname, Street. Joseph, however, ended up being replaced by David Hollister before the group's first self-titled album was released. Blackstreet's introduction into the music world was through their first single, called Baby Be Mine, featured on the 1993 soundtrack to the comedy film CB4. Their self-titled debut album was released the following year and included the singles Booty Call, the popular wedding jam Joy, as well as the top 10 hit Before I Let You Go. 2 years later, they released their second album titled Another Level. It was a breakthrough success, eventually going 4 times platinum, largely due to the #1 single, No Diggity, featuring rappers Dr. Dre and Queen Pen.
I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up.
The song captured the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100, as well as the R&B hip-hop chart. Interestingly, Teddy was the only one who believed in the single. Years later, he would reveal that the other members didn't like the song at all. In 1998, Blackstreet won the Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by a duo or group with vocals. The new album also brought with it a new lineup, featuring Mark Middleton and Eric Williams, in place of Dave and Levi. Both Mark and Eric had honed their skills as members of other groups prior to joining Blackstreet. The reasons why Levi left aren't clear, but both sides have said that money was the central issue. Years later, Dave would reveal that it wasn't his intention to leave, but due to receiving many offers to produce as well as sing with other artists coming his way after the success of their debut album, he knew he had to make the best decision for his career, and that was to exit the group. Another major issue was his relationship with Chauncey. Dave has referred to Chauncey as, quote, the cancer in the group, and urged people to take a closer look at why there was a different lineup of Blackstreet with each album. The reason, he claims, was because of Chauncey's inability to get along with the other members. Due to the success of Another Level, naturally, a lot of great collaboration offers started coming in. The group would make a guest appearance on rapper Jay-Z's The City Is Mine, and they also hooked up with R&B singer Maya and rappers Mace and Blinky Blink for the hit track Take Me There, off the soundtrack for the 1998 animated musical comedy film, The Rugrats Movie. The group's third album finally came 3 years later, and with it, surprise, surprise, another lineup change. Mark was out, and new member Terrell Phillips was in. According to Mark, he was put out on account of him making a ruckus over, what else? Money. He claims that he was paid the least out of everyone, even though he was promised much more. The second single, Girlfriend Boyfriend, with Janet Jackson featuring rappers Ja Rule and Eve, failed to crack the top 40. Then, Teddy and Chauncey had a falling out of sorts, with reports of Chauncey filing a $2 million lawsuit against Teddy, claiming misappropriation of funds. And in turn, Teddy launched his own $2 million lawsuit, charging Chauncey with defamation of character and slander. Later, Chauncey would release a statement maintaining that no lawsuit was ever filed. Teddy would consider the statement an apology and the issue settled. The group then disbanded. After some time had passed, Teddy began having second thoughts about disbanding Blackstreet and decided to patch things up with Chauncey. Mark and Eric also returned to restore the lineup. The reunion resulted in the release of their last album to date, Level 2. Unfortunately, the album didn't do well, and after several failed attempts to keep the group together, all members eventually continued on with solo careers. In 2010, Teddy decided to put together what he believed would be the final 4 lineup of Blackstreet, consisting of himself, Eric, Mark, and Dave, and their plans for the group to, quote, go out with a bang. It was a surprise to hear Eric and Mark's names brought up, since they both previously spoke out about the main reason that they were originally at odds with Teddy and Chauncey being over how the money was split among the members. When Eric and Mark entered the group after the first album, they claimed there was a verbal agreement made for everything to be split evenly between the four of them. However, that didn't happen. This lineup didn't last long and was then replaced with what was touted as the second generation of Blackstreet, Blackstreet 2 or BS2, consisting of Teddy, newcomers Lenny Harold, Tony Tyler, Sherman Tisdale aka J Styles, and former member Dave Hollister. In 2011, Eric and Mark then found themselves on the outs with Teddy and Chauncey after the latter duo filed a lawsuit against the former duo over the use of the Blackstreet name. As co-owners of the trademark, Teddy and Chauncey accused Eric and Mark of booking themselves as Blackstreet for performances without the proper permission or consent. The lawsuit was later dismissed after a cease and desist order was issued against Eric and Mark. Chauncey and Teddy also found themselves at war with one another after Chauncey noticed that Teddy had let the ownership of the group's name lapse. To protect the integrity of what he helped to create, Chauncey bought sole stake in the name and offered Teddy an even split, which he says Teddy didn't like. Naturally, Teddy's version is quite different. He insists that Chauncey let the trademark lapse so he could swoop in and claim it himself, and he wasn't notified about it. He also maintains that he did pay Chauncey $90,000 to add him to the registration, but he never did. Teddy eventually also filed a restraining order against his former groupmate. In an interview with SoulTracks.com, Chauncey highlighted that Teddy is the common denominator and instigator of the breakup of both Guy and Blackstreet. Teddy played us off on each other. He was the boss, and we were all tied to the same contract. Everybody's wrong except for him? Everybody? We didn't abandon the names. He did. We've got them, preserved them, and made sure that we keep those names within the family. He acts like we took something from him. No, we're protecting what we created together. Chauncey ultimately ended up winning the rights to the name. So by 2014, the lineup went from a fivesome to a foursome once more, with Teddy completely out of the picture this time, and Chauncey, Mark, Eric, and former member Levi returned to continue the Blackstreet legacy. In an interview the same year with hip-hop entertainment blog This Is 50, Dave said that he still gets along with everyone, except Chauncey. When asked what it would take for them to be copacetic again, he said that Chauncey would have to be honest about his faults, as well as admit that he was jealous of Dave. To add insult to injury, a few years later, when Dave's episode of the TV One series Unsung aired, it was revealed that Chauncey declined to be interviewed, and he also denied permission for the use of the Blackstreet track that Dave just happens to sing lead on, Before I Let You Go. In March 2021, Blackstreet released a remix version of their 1996 hit No Diggity with the Dutch duo Lucas and Steve. Later on in the year, in September, the group was given the honor of receiving a key to the city where it all began, Virginia Beach. Today, Blackstreet's latest social media posts reveal that they're currently at work on a new album, while also touring and performing stateside as well as internationally. The year 2021 also marks the group's 30th anniversary. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and comment. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you won't miss any future videos. See you next time!